what I'm going to do here is showcase this Autocase demo project within Autocase from start to finish so you can see the entire process. First thing you'd like to see is that Autocase is a web-based application, so all of these different tiles are a building address or a project. You can copy them, add collaborators, and delete these project tiles. So let's go into selecting a new one here. You're going to be asked for your location of your building, and that's going to allow us to calculate and pull background data. So we're going to go to New York, New York as the building address. Then you're going to need a project name. You need to know if it's an existing building where you're doing a retrofit or a completely new construction. It'll give some information here. Your gross floor area for this project, we're going to put 1.8 million square feet. The analysis can be done in US dollars or Canadian. And then we have over 30 different building types. This is going to impact our methodologies and our background data, as well as some of the baselines we set. So for this one, we're going to select a mixed-use office. We're going to hit next. So this is the project timeline, and it's going to impact how your cash flows are tied into the future and how they're discounted back. If you construct for a longer period, you're not going to be receiving your operations benefits or costs until later on, and your operations go on, and that's how far we're going to calculate the benefits. You can also add a project cover photo to customize your tile or your Word or PDF export. And then these are all the different goals you can select to analyze, and it's going to give you a set of inputs, as well as it's going to give impacts at the end when you do these analyses. So there's energy efficiency and renewable energy, HVAC and thermal comfort, lighting and daylighting, water efficiencies, building sightlines and quality views, open space and recreation. We have a life cycle costing module. We have a roofing module, a materials module, and then we have other costs and benefits. For this simple analysis, I'm going to click energy efficiency, renewable energy, as well as materials. So now that you're within Autocase, the first thing you're going to be greeted by is the Project Workspace. It's going to have some location-specific information, so you could start making some very high-level inferences. Say, for example, what would be the benefits if you're producing 1 megawatt hour a year of renewable energy? And it's going to show it down here. Say maybe you want to compare carbon emission factors of your specific grid in New York versus other regions. You can as well. Then we collect temperature data as an example for our urban heat island effect model, as well as outdoor air quality or particulate matter data for our filtration model. So when doing an analysis within Autocase, you're always comparing against a base case. The base case is an as-is scenario. So it can be how your building is currently operating if you're doing a renovation. It can be minimum code. It can also be the average building in the area, as well as building type and location. So what you see here is when I toggle on the Autocase estimate for the base case, it's using CBEX data or the Commercial Buildings Energy Consumption Survey data. I'm going to go back to make it EUI, but you can do the same thing for natural gas and water and so on. So for the base case, we have 40 EUI for electricity consumption annually and 23 EUI for natural gas consumption annually. In terms of materials, I have some information here. This is just for example purposes, and it's a very loose analysis. So I'm just putting in 10,000 kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalents over the life cycle assessment of the project based on materials. But you can also import your information from a Tally Excel export, as well as we have an integration with one-click LCA, so you could import the information directly from their software into ours through their export function. That's the base case now. We can go into the design cases, the first one being all electric. So what we're going to assume here is that we're now only using 38 EUI, And on top of that, we're now completely electric and not using any natural gas consumption. For materials, we've just used more sustainable materials. Again, this is very high level, but we have 5 million kilograms of carbon dioxide equivalents being emitted by these materials over their life cycle assessment. What you can do here is duplicate projects so that they have all of the same information, and you can make some slight changes. And that's what I did here with the all-electric NPV. I've duplicated that project. And what I'm going to do here is add renewable energy. So in terms of renewable energy production, we're going to say there's a PV system that produces 1.5 million kilowatt hours of electricity. The system has a 50-year useful life, and there's no degradation rate and so on to the PV system, and it's completely offsetting electricity. You can also calculate some impacts like tax or local utility incentives, or if it's being sold back to the grid. Now, based on this information, and I'm just going to showcase how to delete a design or a scenario. Based on this information, we have two design scenarios compared to a base case. Now let's hit compare designs. So we have run the results, and at a very high level, you can see here, you're going to get the total triple bottom line benefit. You can go into more details, get the environmental, the financial, or social. We don't have any social impacts here. You can even look by stakeholder, the owner, the community, the occupant. Go deeper into that within each of the scenarios and see where the benefit is coming from. So say, for example, we want to see the financial benefits. It's coming from the savings from not using as much natural gas or electricity. And keep in mind, we haven't put any cost information here, so this is strictly a benefits analysis. Again, we can do it by stakeholder. If we do put life cycle costing information, there's ranges. You can see how much each feature provides in terms of value. Year-over-year results, you can toggle things off and on. So the social impacts or the financial impacts or the environmental, you could have it cumulatively as well. If we go here to the next feature, we can look at different metrics. We have some costing metrics for owners. We have no costs here. We have things like the potential houses powered by energy saved. And if you'd like to see these results in action, we do have a results tutorial video you can look at as well. You can also see how many pollutants are reduced over the life of the project. So things like carbon dioxide emissions, NOx, SOx, PM2.5, and volatile organic compounds. How much each feature reduces in terms of carbon emissions. And our carbon story feature, which can be showcased in different results videos. And then we also have an Architecture 2030 health monitor compared to CBEX 2003 data. And one thing to look at here is the lifetime net present value of these impacts. So which features are providing the value of financial savings from electricity? Who is this value being provided to, the stakeholder or the owner? And what's the benefit cost type? Is it financial, social, or environmental? Keep in mind, all of our calculations and methodologies are on the right-hand side for all of our models. And it has all of the papers and literature that we source, as well as the data that we collect. What you can do here is you can download the results in a Word report or an Excel export. And then you can have all of our methodologies more in depth, as well as our resources in a high quality or a standard quality PDF. One more thing to showcase is the advanced inputs or the advanced information. And when you're doing these business cases, you have a lot of this background information. We've assumed a lot of it based on our best guesses and our resources in terms of databases. So say, for example, the electricity utility costs is collected from the EIA, or say forecast growth as well. And this has all been collected, but can be changed at any point in time. So say you have a more specific discount rate for your project, you can impact it and put 5%. We have the social cost of different pollutants. So the social cost of carbon, the social cost of, say, volatile organic compounds. And this is all location specific again. And then we have emission factors from electricity or the grid, as well as natural gas and so on. We have a variety of occupant inputs, like the number of employees in the building as an example. We have some utility inputs, and so on. So this is how to quickly run an Autocase analysis from start to finish. And thank you for listening.